This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
You have a rich person's name. Like, you should be a billionaire with the name Winfield.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
Checking the microphone. It's going good.
It is the 1st of November, 2022. My name's Corey Winfield. Marnie's off tonight. This is the 217 Recovery Podcast. And this is Tuesday, and this is the second week in a row. We're doing the podcast live on Discord. And I have two people on the stage with me. And if you ever want to join us, feel free. Just download this Discord app and then find 217 Recovery. It's pretty simple. Is it pretty simple, you two?
Very simple.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was. You know, like I'm still pretty new to it myself, the Discord, but it's pretty cool. You know, it's you can do video, but we don't do video. We do it's like old school. You know, I'm the radio guy, and it's like taking calls live. You know, it's pretty cool.
Voice.
Yeah, with a name like Winfield, I should be a billionaire. Isn't that right, Adam?
Should be a billionaire. Should be a billionaire. The name Winfield.
It does sound like a name for a billionaire.
Yeah.
Doesn't it though?
Yes,
like,
it does.
hello, I'm Corey Winfield from the Winfield estate.
I'm Esquire, Corey Winfield, Esquire. Do you do the
Winfield
Esquire?
Estate.
I'm Corey Winfield the 5th. Or do I have to be the 3rd?
Always the third.
I'm gonna start introducing myself as Prince. I'm Prince Corey Winfield the 3rd.
The third.
I'm here for a loan. Let's go right to the
awesome.
bank. $1 billion. I want to buy an island and a helicopter.
I'd love to have an island and a helicopter.
I will pay you back in 100 years. What would you do with an island and a helicopter, Adam?
I would live my best life.
Okay, what would you do, Care Bear?
I actually take a vacation. I've never been on like an island or like been to Florida or Cancun, like none of that stuff.
I've never been there either.
So you'd own an island, but you would take a trip. I'm assuming on your helicopter
Frequently.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So you would just go back to the island to kind of recuperate, and then you'd be off again to another trip.
Yeah, maybe make it like a meditation island. Self-care island.
Adventure.
Care Bear Adventure. Yeah, and we're calling her Care Bear because it's fun to use screen names. Like mine is just kind of boring. It's just Corey, and Adam's yours is Sonic Prozac. So that's kind of interesting. And of course, Care Bear.
My name's Carrie, but I've been called Care Bear since preschool, so
That makes sense. They just call me Corey. Well, if I had an island and a helicopter, I would fly my sister, my older brother, and my mom there, along with a camera crew, and I would see how long it would last.
that would be something, huh?
It would be fun. Like I would be like, who's gonna be the winner? And then like I would take bets, and that's where the real money would be made. An island, that seems like that's a lot of work. You have to like build houses and stuff on it, or put water in, or electricity. That's a lot of work if you think about it. And helicopters aren't really that safe. But it could get a couple of people to the island where, like I said, send the camera crew, give them bottles of water and stuff. It'll be all right. Pay them a lot of money. And I'll have all that money from the bank when I go in and say I'm Prince Corey Winfield the 3rd.
See, I think you're onto something.
I think I am too. Now, we might have to kidnap them to put them on the island together. My brother, he might go if I told him it was in a warm spot. My sister, that'd be a hard one to get her. I'd just be like, hey, there's some sports going on. And my mom would be like, I get to see my oldest son. So she might go for that, but I don't know.
Right.
Just being honest, man. It's an honest program. And when we started the podcast, Carrie, you asked, like, what do we do? Like, what are we doing here? And we don't really have an agenda. And you asked if there was a topic. And I said, you could pick it. And you said, relapse prevention.
Yeah, or something like that. I don't know.
As a topic.
It was the first thing that came to my head.
I was really good at relapsing. So,
I am too, and I think that's why I picked it.
Well, this is the only time I haven't been good at relapsing, and it's been going well for me. I was talking at the treatment center tonight. We kind of talked about setting yourself up for success and having dreams and goals. And I think that has a lot to do with where I'm at today with my sobriety and just my life in general. You know, like I had a vision, I had some ideas, and they're not ever going to happen overnight. You know, I'm not going to get 10 years sober tomorrow either.
Right.
They're things that you have to work for. And Adam, you've just started a podcast of your own, and it took you like 2 years to kind of even get to the point where like, hey, we're going to do this, you know, and
Yeah.
it takes time, but you start building that. And like Adam, like you found out like how much it takes so much time, you know, like trying to do a podcast right.
It does.
And I said to you the other day that you're only going to get better now. You know, you're going to work out the bugs. You're going to figure out your show. You guys are going to hit a stride, and you just have nothing but better shows and better things coming. And that's got to be exciting. And you're watching videos and you're learning and you're figuring it out and you're creating purpose for yourself. So I think that's a good thing, man. And I would say like that's my only like really relapse prevention thing is to find something to replace the drugs and the drinking, and you know, just go after your dreams. A lot of us are scared, and when we've been trapped with alcohol for so long, and here we are finally free, and we don't want people judging us, we don't want people looking at us funny, we don't want people telling us we can't do it, and they're already doing those things. So you might as
good point.
well latch on to something that's going to give you a little bit of hope. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters, you know, is what you think about yourself and the dreams that you have. People have no idea how big your dreams are. You know, of course they're going to hate on them, and they hear them and they don't like seeing other people do good things. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like good things. If you guys saw my video, I said that in there. You know, a lot of people hate on me, and a lot of people, they just don't like good things. Misery loves company.
Yes, it does.
What about you, Adam? Do you have any words of wisdom personally about
Relapse prevention?
Mm-hmm.
Relapse prevention begins, I think, with just prayer. Saying a prayer when you get up in the morning. I think relapse prevention begins with reminding ourselves everything that we've been through and how far we've come. Because I know for myself, I would forget how far I've come, and I would relapse. That happened to me. I relapsed for 4 months. I was on a bender for 4 months a couple of years ago. And relapse prevention for me is taking a look at myself every day. And I don't always like what I see. I can tell you that, you know, but I still do it because it's important. And doing all these things will keep me from picking up the first drink. You know, I know that to be true.
So when
relapse prevention for me looks like taking my meds every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like one thing. It's a myriad of things.
So when you wake up before you take your meds, you're like, oh, I gotta pray. So then you sit down and you're like, dear Lucifer.
No, generally in the morning, like I'll say prayers in the morning, but I'll be by myself. I'll usually be on the back porch or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm somebody, if I don't wake up and get my head right, then the rest of my day is going to be off.
Yeah.
You know?
I was on the way to tonight, like I normally do. I pray. I'm on the way to talk to this treatment center. I'm just like, Lord, give me something to talk about. Like I have no idea what I'm talking about. And my buddy Justin went with me today, and he's like in the car as I'm praying. He's like looking at me like, dude, do you really have no idea what we're talking about tonight? You know, I'm like, nah, I have no idea. You know, God gives it to me on the way there. We'll figure something out, man. And we did. We had a good little meeting with the guys tonight, but there's a lot that goes into that. And I was recording a video last weekend with a guy named Jacob Sparks, and I just published the video on YouTube, and I'll put it on Facebook later and Twitter and whatever else. But in there, I asked him, you know, I was like, what role does God have? And he's like, oh, Ogden or something. He's a Viking guy or something, you know, like I don't know every single religion in the world, but he's like, I get what you're saying, man. Like that higher power thing, you know, he's like that really does work. And I told them there was a meeting that I went to, and I started thinking about it, that I haven't seen anybody with 10 years, 20 years of sobriety. They're like, nope, God's not in my life, man. I have no higher power. But I've seen people in early recovery like, I'm not doing that stupid, it's God stuff. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in that. And they're just fighting it so they can do things their way. And that's something else that might help people with relapse prevention, is stop trying to do it your way. Your way doesn't work, man. Like, give up. Just, you lost. Try something different. Like the ways you're trying it, it's not working. People go to treatment centers and like, treatment center didn't fix me, man. No, a treatment center is not going to fix you. Like, what trauma is in your life? What are you hiding from? What are you trying to bury? And that's kind of hard to find out sometimes, and difficult. And a lot of us don't want to find that out. Wow. Somebody wants to find something out because my stuff's blowing up over here. But it's one of those things that you have to figure out on your own. And that's what I'm saying. Like, treatment centers can't fix you. They can show you the way. Yeah, they give you some tools, but you got to do the digging. You got to get in there and figure out what's going on, and don't look at other people's situation and think, oh, well, mine's not as bad, so I should just shut up and quit bitching about it and just deal with it. You got to go to those hard places and look in there and like, okay, what's going on? And then when you figure it out, like, oh, like for me, it was abandonment issues, and some people are like, really? Yeah, really. That was my thing. And that's what kept me stuck. But that's my issue, and I knew right away that I'd only had 90 days clean, not even 90 days clean when I figured all this out. And I was like, I can't deal with it right now. So I just like built this little, shelf in my head, a little closet, and I put it up in the closet and I shut the door and I was like, I'll come back to you when I'm ready. Right. I think a lot of times, especially with the military people, they'll go to the VA clinic and, they get like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe a month, whatever it is, of like addiction treatment stuff. And then they flip right into the other stuff, the mental stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that they just can't unpack. And then they're trying to, and they get like 2 weeks or 3, whatever it is, month, whatever, for their second stint of it, the second round. And it's like, they're not ready for that stuff yet. And they go right back to drinking when they leave. At least the people that I know that went through there, that's what they do. And it's unfortunate, but buddy of mine, Jamie, he's going to have, I should just say what he does have now, but I don't know. But he'll have 2 years if he plays his cards right in February. Nice. And he had to kind of do that. He had to like put that stuff on the shelf for a minute, and he was telling me some horror stories about stuff he went through, and it's just like, that sounds horrible, but you got to put the drink down, like you have to have some sober times where you can be clear-headed and ready to deal with those situations. But he's aware of them, and just being aware of them. And like I said, putting them in closet in your mind, just like, boom, it's there. I'll deal with it later. It really does kind of give you comfort. At least it did me.
Seems like one of the biggest things is for all of us, and it binds us to self-medication.
Yeah.
Through our drinking. I know at least that was the case for me. I self-medicated, and then when I did get some clean time in me and those hard things did come up, I did relapse. That happened to me. Like, I'm sitting there listening going, that happened to me.
Yeah.
So I what you're saying is hitting right at home.
Same here. Every time I have relapsed, for the most part, it's been when a big trauma has come up and I just can't deal. Well, before I just could not deal with life on life's terms. As of now, I can't say that I can. I'm hoping that, if something were to come up, I can handle it in a different way. Seeing as how I'm handling my recovery a lot different this time. But, that hits home with me too.
Yeah, and we're not going to find the answers all in one day either, and it's a process. Like I said, we're not going to have 10 years tomorrow. I mean, unless you have like 10 years tomorrow, then congratulations if you do. But like, we're not going to, and you got to be cool with it, and we got to take it as it comes. And not every day is rainbows and unicorns, and not every day is the hell either. And it's definitely not the hell when we're sober. We can probably all agree with that.
I agree.
It's easier to find the silver linings and things when we're sober.
You know what I like now? I like the boring days. it's boring, but there's no drama. There's nothing bad happening. It's boring. It's wonderful that it's boring in many ways. Before my life I was addicted to the drama and addicted to the chaos. And now that's gone. And so I look forward to boring days, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
I have problems with the boring days. So I'm always trying to find something to do. Like yesterday, I didn't have anything to do, and I went to the church and passed out candy.
Nice.
Just finding little things to do, and I've found that if I can't find something to do, I try and make plans for something like a couple days ahead, so I have something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. See, for me, I got little projects, like working on the podcast, or I play music, or Sean and I'll play together, or so there's always something to do. But the boring days, the no drama days, I like those days.
Yeah, I don't know if I have boring days. I mean, I'm sure I do, but there's always something I could be doing. Like, once you just start finding those things, and especially if you find something that you're passionate about and something that can give you purpose, and it might be just, going to church. And I know some churches have like community groups that you can be involved in. And like one of the things I want to do in Traverse City is open a recovery community center where, people can come and volunteer. And what does that mean? I don't know. But there's a lot of people that are bored that would love to go like, hey, what can I do? And I don't know, we'll figure something out. Like, let's make some shirts, or I don't know. There's something that can be done, and we'll figure that out for people. And there's a lot of times where it's 10:38 and somebody's like, man, I need a drink. Well, there's not a meeting till noon or 1. Well, what are they going to do, man? Like, give them a place to go, kind of hang out and be around other sober people doing good things. And I just think that that's a good opportunity for people to volunteer, and to be involved and feel like, hey, I'm volunteering here, but we're building something. We're building a recovery community center. And I think showing the community like, hey, we're valuable people and this is what we do, unless you get out there and show them, they're just going to believe what's on TV. Like, oh, the junkies and the addicts. I mean, every show you watch, man, it's like there's a junkie or an alcoholic and, oh, they're just so bad. And it's like, come on, man. Every once in a while, you'll see the good guy. Like there was a baseball player and, oh, what was his name? He was really good. I can't believe I can't remember his name. He was actually drafted by the Cubs. And then he had like his drinking problems and stuff. And they're like, nope. So they traded him to the Reds, Josh Hamilton. And he came up and they finally gave him a shot and he did really good. And they traded him to Texas. And he was a badass. And he like put on a clinic during a home run derby back when the rules were like the regular rules. And he was just hitting shot after shot after shot. And he didn't end up winning it. But man, everybody was talking about him and his recovery. And he was great. And then he relapsed. And oh, man, it was like everybody was just waiting to pounce, man. Yeah. And there was like pictures of him at the bar. He's jumping on the bar. He's got a shirt off and just being wild ass. No. And they just lit him on fire, man. And he had to leave Texas and he went to the Angels. And he never really had a great career too much after that. He might have had one decent year in LA, but then he got in trouble again as he started drinking, and his daughter said that he grabbed her. And so like he went through all this legal trouble, and it's like, that should show you right there. Like, it doesn't matter. Cause sometimes we're just like, man, if I just get some money, I'll be good. No,
that ain't everything.
No, you can be a billionaire with a name like Winfield, but if I'm not doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, it doesn't matter. We'll burn it all down too. And
the only thing money does is insulate you and insulates your addiction. You know what I mean? It keeps you there's people with a lot of money that can drink and then not become problematic because their money takes care of it. And it's a funny thing, man. I've seen it happen. And inside they're dying.
Yeah.
But from the outside it looks like everything's wonderful and beautiful. I've met people like that. Money doesn't mean a damn thing.
Mm-mm. I wouldn't like have. I mean, I want some money, but like, like the people I would just they would always ask me for money when you get so old, dude. Like, I think it's bad now that bill collector's calling me wanting money. I'm like, I'm not paying you, homie.
You get your second cousin's roommate.
Yeah, like people I don't even owe money, like asking me for money. I'm like, I don't even give the people I owe money. Like, you think I'm gonna pay your ass? Come on now.
Yeah, people come out of the woodwork as soon as they know that you have a chunk of money.
Mm-hmm. Just donate to our Why? Just donate to no. At the same time, I'm like, man, Taylor Swift could like fund our company for years with like what she makes in like 2 hours.
Yep.
It's like, could you help us out, Taylor Swift? I'll buy you a new CD that came out that last week at midnight or whatever. I'll watch your videos. But I'm not I'm not asking those people. But it would be cool. But yeah, no, it would be a beatdown, to be rich like that. But yeah, money doesn't change anything. And when Josh Hamilton was handling business at home in his own personal life, when he was doing what he needed to do, and he'll tell you this, I'm sure he wrote a book about it, his life was amazing. The doors that opened for him, the opportunities was just unbelievable. And then, whatever reason, picking back up and slipping back into it, there comes the hell again. You can be sober. I've heard people say 20 years, and you pick back up and you lose the shit. It's just right back down, just as quick as it was before. And yeah, it took you 20 years to build all that stuff, but it just takes hours, year, months, days, whatever, to lose it all again.
Yeah.
I have a friend in the program that was just shy of 13 years and relapsed, ended up in jail. So the whole cycle starts all over again.
Yeah, and that regret's got to be tough.
Absolutely. Got drug court now, and what I hear, it's really hard.
Yeah. I had a drinking dream the other night, and I woke up and I was just like, oh my God. And I texted my wife, I texted Marnie, and I was like, oh my God, I had a drinking dream. It was horrible. And that's because I have so much to lose today. And like, I don't want that life anymore. Like, it's not a dream, it's a nightmare. And I had to take like 5 minutes to just kind of collect myself when I woke up. And I was talking to a guy, he's got way more years than I do. And he's like, yeah, man, they still happen. Like, you're still going to have those dreams. And it's so crazy. Like, our brains are stupid.
You will still have those dreams. My brain has little flashes sometimes during the day. You know what I mean? But I recognize it for what it is. And then I let it pass.
Like a craving? Or just a thought?
Yeah, like a thought. Usually like a thought. Like, wow, the sun will hit me just right. And I'll be like, man, or it'll take me back to a point where in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I'm there in my brain just for a split second. And then it's gone, And it's not really a compulsion. It's not a compulsion. It's just a thought. Just like it hits me. And sometimes, like, I've had it make my mouth water thinking about it. So yeah, I get that. It doesn't leave us.
But they're like delusional thoughts. At least for me, like you said, brings you back to like a memory or something. You're like, oh man, that was so fun. And you start playing it back in your head, and it was so. I compare it to like Happy Gilmore when he's like doing his happy dance. It's like, bloom. There's a little person riding a little stick horse and slapping his ass. Oh, he's riding the bull or whatever. That's how it, like, my brain paints it sometimes. Like, oh, it was so beautiful and wonderful. And then in reality, if you stop and think about it, I'm like, nah, that's not how it went down. I was out. Like, I would like spray my yard. I remember when I lived in Arkansas, I'd spray my yard with like weed killer, and I'd be out there at like 5 a.m. drunk. In my mind, I'm just like, oh man, it's so wonderful and great. In reality, the neighbors are looking out going, what is he doing out there in his boxers with a beer? If he's tripping all over, like, what is he doing? Like, he already did that part of the yard. Like, what is it? Like, I'm sure it was a hot mess. It wasn't like I tried to paint it in my mind. Like, it was so fun, man.
Yeah.
It's probably not pretty.
Well, see, that's what this disease will do to you. It'll lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not careful, you'll believe it.
Yeah.
this is where relapse prevention comes in, being on guard. That in and of itself is a skill and a tool.
Yeah. And knowing that it lies to you too. Like the last time I drank, like I remember it was like my brain was telling me it was going to be great and this and that. And I started drinking and it wasn't. And I was like, where's that buzz? I was like, this is not the buzz. No, the buzz that my brain was telling me was different. This is not the buzz. And of course I continued to drink until I was blackout drunk, but I never did get that buzz. And I remember thinking like my brain freaking lied to me. Like, this is not how I don't feel like my brain was telling me I'm going to feel.
Yeah. It tricked me.
And that was like the first time
switch.
Yeah, first time I realized though, like, no, my brain freaking lied to me. I can't trust it. But you gotta.
And it was easy when I relapsed. It was easy to lie to myself and to believe it. That's when it was easy. That shit don't get past me today, but it did then. And I had to see it for what it was, and I had to ride that ride in order to learn it. As stupid as that sounds, it's true.
We have to do it ourselves too.
We do.
We have to go through those hard times. We have to fall and get back up, think we can do it, and until we stop doing it our way, like it's just. I mean, I'm doing it my way today, but this is like truly my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not the old way of me trying to get by doing it my way. Like this is me like doing it the way that people told me that I should be doing it a long time ago. But I was like, no, I can go 3 months and still drink on the weekends every once in a while.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I would listen. I don't know how many meetings I've sat in and I've listened to people witnessing about their own personal relapse. I knew it was real. I knew it. You know what I mean? I mean, I listened to the lies in my brain. I let the alcohol lie to me, and I believed that I needed it in a moment when I didn't.
I believe that it made me because I was drinking at work. I had it in my head that it was making me work better, and everything I did, I could concentrate better and this and that. And in reality, it was nothing like that. But that's what my disease was telling me. Just keep drinking. It's your fuel, Yeah.
I thought it made me better on the radio.
Yeah.
Until I heard a commercial. And I was like, oh my God, I am drunk. I got to go redo that. Yeah. And I felt so
Horrible to hear or even see ourselves in a video when we're drunk.
Oh, yeah.
I play guitar and I would think that it sounded amazing, but in reality, I know it was horrible.
Yeah, you're like, but Slash does it, man. I can too. No, Slash didn't sound good either. That's why he left the band. Yeah, it's amazing that some of them rock and rollers, survive as long as they do. A lot of them do end up getting help. And not every band, has drug issues, but a lot of them do, and a lot of them end up getting sober because I think they have some resources, which does help. And I would say if you're in a rock band or any band, if you're a musician and you go seek treatment, I think that's acceptable. I think society's like, yeah, yep, okay, it's kind of expected. Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
But
look at Nikki Sixx. He wrote a great book.
Yeah, then you got those negative people that are like, yeah, he's a druggie, going to rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what they thought about me when I went to rehab. It was a negative connotation, but here I am on the other side of it, over 2 years clean, and they can't really say anything now.
I feel bad for Josh Gordon. He's an NFL player, and his thing was weed. And I don't smoke weed. It'll lead me back to drinking. But and that's acceptable in a lot of states now too. And for him to lose pretty much his whole career because he smoked pot. Some would say, hey man, it's just pot. Don't smoke it until you're done with the NFL.
Right.
That would make sense to me. But again, weed is addictive, and if he's not getting the right kind of help, whatever. But like, to just boom, kick him out of the league, and you can only play football for so many years. And now it's like he's trying to jump onto teams, but he's already kind of too old, and the NFL's kind of passed him by, and he lost all of that for weed. And it's like, well, what about these guys that are, popping Vicodin and, getting hooked on that, or drunk driving charges? And, that wide receiver for Oakland, he's in prison. He killed a woman in Vegas because he was drunk driving, and he was going like over 100 miles an hour and bashed right into her car, and she died. And I think it was a rookie, so like, boom, like that's done. Like that's kind of an easy one to go, oh, well, that guy's doing time now. Yeah. But like, how many people get away with it though?
I know I certainly didn't. I wasn't good at it.
It's kind of scary. Like the one guy, Haskins, used to play for Ohio State, and just this spring he signed with Pittsburgh, and he was going down to Florida to train with Mitch Trubisky, who also signed in Pittsburgh. And he had a blood alcohol level that was over the legal limit, but his car ran out of gas, and he got out on the highway and thought, oh, I'll just run over here real quick, and got hit by a dump truck.
Oh, wow.
And he died. It's like, damn. But he was allowed to play. Like drinking's cool. Yeah, that's acceptable. Obviously he died, so it wasn't a good situation for him. But, again, how many of those other guys are getting away with it? And this guy had to get like banned from the NFL, and like people always talking about him on TV like he was just some bad, horrible person. And it's like, okay, if he has an issue, let's help him instead of banning him. Like when they ban kids or kick kids out of school for vaping, and let's make something clear here. Vaping nicotine and vaping marijuana are two different things. That's like comparing a cigarette to a joint, like two different things. But the way society sees vaping is, oh, it's so bad. Well, no, the stuff that causes cancer is the stuff is the marijuana stuff, that they've tested. And I don't even know if I believe all that. Is vaping good for you? No, but neither is eating a bunch of ice cream, and being overweight. That'll kill me probably before the vaping will. I know that I don't stink. I don't hack up a lung anymore because I don't smoke cigarettes. So a lot of people call that harm reduction, but some people don't. Some vaping. And the way our governor, I'm not a big fan of, the way she framed it when she was like going after the vaping industry and said it was an epidemic. And she's like, oh, the middle schoolers, the vaping in middle schoolers went up 50%. And I personally called the governor's office because I didn't like the way that was worded. Most people, 50% of middle schools are vaping. That's what they hear. No, they said it went up 50%. And I said to them, that's like saying it went from 2 out of 100 kids saying that they've tried to vape to 3 out of 100 kids saying they try to vape. And then the guy came back, well, actually it was 2.3 to, I'm like, you can't even have a 0.3 of a person, you idiot. Those stats are stupid. And for the governor to say that 3 out of 100 kids that have tried vaping is an epidemic, that's not. That's a parenting issue. Like you need to talk to your kids. And I don't know why you would go after all these vaping companies. Oh, wait, hold on. There was a tobacco guy on her campaign that was donating hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe that makes some sense. But she costs a lot of people jobs, in an industry that is trying to do harm reduction. And then we have a guy here in Traverse City. His name's Derek, and he is part of Harm Reduction Michigan. And he starts blasting people on his Facebook about vaping is bad and vaping is this and that. I'm like, dude, you're passing out needles to people, and you're going to tell me that vaping's bad? I'm not a big fan of that guy. We're not friends on Facebook anymore. But anyway, like it really does bother me. And now when they hear about kids vaping, back to my story about that, and then they kick them out of school and they suspend them and they kick them off the football team. I'm sorry. What? Like, so you're going to take all the good things in their life away? Well, yeah, because they need to be punished. Do they? Do they need to be punished, or they need to be sit down? Like, what's going on at home? Oh, right. Mom and dad have problems. Oh, dad's drinking. Oh, mom. Dig deeper into that situation. Can we help people? Can we just try? I mean, grandpa's way is not working anymore. Like, can we just try to help people out? Like, I'm not a big fan of the Bible or anything, but I'm pretty sure it says something there about help thy neighbor, or, love thy neighbor like you love thyself. I'm sure it's in there. Can we try that a little bit? Instead of like trying to punish everybody and like I did a podcast last week and it was like, America's not England, because we're not. And those old ass laws, those old ass judges, to me, that the system doesn't work. It hasn't worked for a long ass time. And it's about time people like us stand up and say, we're not going to take this anymore. There needs to be some changes. Why not? You know, if we get enough people on board, and why not do it with the recovery movement? There's so many people in recovery, like it is crazy. And that's one thing in the politics, like, okay, you hear about abortion and stuff like that. Okay, that's cool. But what about us? You know, I don't ever hear anything. You know, every once in a while I'll see in an ad up something about mental health. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's addiction. But I don't see them coming after our votes, you know, like we don't count. You know, like how about start a recovery movement where we just all vote for recovery people and we actually change the system?
That's a good idea.
Put the money where it needs to go. You know, like the $400 million that Michigan got from the opioid crisis, that the lawsuits and stuff. And then you look at the board that they've created and you're like, wait a minute, they're all backed by some kind of political movement and some kind of thing. And wait, you got these guys on there and these guys on there, and they're all like special interest groups almost, you know? And it's like, wait a minute, is any of this money going to go to help people? No, it's like free $400 million that just fell from the sky, and they're all trying to go after it like vultures. I would create a committee that anybody on that committee would get $0. Anything they're involved in, $0. See how many people raise their hand to be on the committee then. I would. They wouldn't. The people that are on it now would be like, never mind, I got other stuff to do. But that's what needs to happen with it, you know, and that's why that money's there. But everything's so corrupt, and I don't even know where to begin. Like I said, we just have to start our own movement, really.
I like that idea. What are we going to call it?
Well, I was thinking about the Common Sense Party, but then nobody would vote because they wouldn't have common sense. It's not so common. So I don't know. Anything, the recovery movement, I don't know.
Yeah,
ask me tomorrow. I don't know. That's my rant for tonight, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, you betcha.
Thanks for
That's
listening.
what we're here for.
I appreciate it. I'm all hot and worked up now. I'm sweating.
Blood boiling.
I need some ice cream so I can kill myself. No, just kidding.
Got to do a cool down.
I'm going to have a stroke. Told you it was the ice cream that was going to get me.
Well, you're just passionate, man. That's all.
I am. And it just, you know, they say, what can you control about the situation? You know, and there are things that we can do. But am I doing them? I don't know. Probably not. You know, do I need to start? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I do. Who knows? But maybe someone listening, maybe they're like, you know, that's a great idea. I know how to do that. I'm going to start that up.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it would definitely change some things. You know, I think that's why people voted for Trump at first, you know, and I thought it was crazy that he got elected after he did the whole like grab him by the pussy thing. Cause I thought that, oh shit.
Oh,
no way my grandma and grandpa voting for him now. Nope, they still did because he's not going to take our guns. I'm like, oh, Jesus criminy. Like for real. Like, did you hear what he said? You have a daughter, you have 2 daughters and a granddaughter. Like, what are you doing? You're going to vote for that guy. Okay. But I think people were so tired of just the political politician stuff. And it was kind of fun seeing Trump in there like firing people at first. You know, it's like, hell yeah, they're not doing their job. Fire their asses.
Fire them.
That's what I would do. If I was governor, I'd be firing people.
It cost the country 4 years, but it was good entertainment.
Yeah. But it got a little crazy at the end. And I think COVID took its part in him. And I think the whole Republican Party kind of screwed Trump over a little bit just because like the one dude from Atlanta or Georgia, whatever his name was, McConnell, I think he was a little too far out there. And America, people don't need money out there. Meanwhile, like people are getting evicted when they're not supposed to be. And there's no jobs. Everything's closed down. Yeah. And he's all like, no, don't give them any more money. I'm like, what? Like, do you understand that you're giving us money so that you rich people can keep making money? You do realize that, you know, like that was the whole scheme and the whole plan of it all.
Keep greasing the wheels.
Because if the poor people don't pay their bills, the middle class people don't pay their bills, who's it hurting? The rich people. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. Let's give them the money so that they can pay us. That's really what it was. I mean, did you guys, I don't know. So we got caught up on bills. You know, we were paying other people just so we could live our normal little ass life. You know, like nobody was like, hey, I'm going to buy a boat today. Okay. With what? your little money that you get now that you don't know if you're going to have it in 6 months or 3 months, and that's the thing that kept us on edge about, well, we don't know if there's going to be another stimulus or if they're going to keep going with the unemployment stuff. We don't know.
Yeah, it was up in the air for a long time.
Yeah, because they kind of wanted you a little worried, They wanted you paying bills, not buying boats.
Right.
Because, boy, if I'd have known at the beginning, I'd have bought my ass a helicopter and an island.
That's where it's at.
And a camera crew. I would have hit you guys up like, hey, I know what we can do with our money. Let's invest it in a camera crew and a helicopter and an island. I got an idea for a TV show.
I'm so in.
I'm in.
Count me in.
And people can bet on it. We'd be on every football game. You know how they have those, every freaking commercial.
Team.
Yeah, you can't even jump on Yahoo. You can't even do anything without seeing, hey, bet now. Yeah, that would be us. Bet now. Who's going to win? Corey's mom, Corey's sister, or Corey's brother? Winner gets payout of $1 billion.
I love it.
That'd be awesome. I'd watch. Anyway. Well, I should probably wrap it up, guys. But I do enjoy doing Discord on Tuesdays now. This is kind of fun. It really is. It brings other people into the podcast. It lets people interact. I like it.
I like it.
I like it.
That's all that matters, if we like it. So next Tuesday then. I hope to see you here.
We'll be here.
All right.
All right, you guys. Take care. Join us next week on Discord. Get the app. Follow 217 Recovery. And I've sent an invite link on our Facebook and our Twitter. So follow that and join. And on next week's podcast, it'll be fun.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. We hope you come back for our next episode.